Dozens of people came to a vigil for Sheneice Sumpter outside the James Seals Community Center. That's where we find News 5's Alan Carter.
And tonight was not just about grief, but also talking about a painful issue in domestic violence, which has claimed the life of another young woman.
She was full of peace, full of happiness, full of jokes.
That's the situation everyone here dealt with tonight, sharing hands and grief over the loss of Sheneice Sumpter. Her body found last week near this abandoned building.
Sorry for all this. I didn't do this.
Just 27 years old, 2 weeks before turning 28.
Things can be going so well in your life and end abruptly in the hands of someone who is supposed to love and protect you. This was the case for Sheneice Sumpter, who was a loving single mother with a bright future ahead of her. She wanted nothing but the best for her and her young son. But her life was taken before she could start over in a new state. It's time to flip the pages of this case and unravel what happened on May 9th, 2017 in Mobile, Alabama. The story today may not be a long one, but sadly, it's a familiar one. Sheneice Sumpter had a bright future ahead of her. Sheneice Sumpter was a beautiful 27-year-old hardworking single mother. She was employed with Pilot as an insurance adjuster. She loved to shop, spend time with her family, take care of her 9-year-old son, and do hair. Her son was her life, but she was in love with a man who snatched her bright future away from her. So what exactly happened on May 9th, 2017 that led to the death of Sheneice? Sheneice and her boyfriend, 32-year-old Peter Gales, hopped onto a highway and headed to Pensacola, Florida. Sheneice was going to Pensacola regarding a new job, and Peter came along to accompany her. When going on a trip, who wouldn't want their significant other to accompany them? The turn of events that happened next will shock you. As Sheneice and Peter headed back to Mobile, Alabama, they decided to stop at a drive-thru for a bite to eat. As they stopped for a break from their journey, ring ring, a call came through the speaker. But it wasn't a call for Sheneice. The call was indeed for Peter. But it wasn't a family member. Was it a coworker? No, it was his female companion. This call would spark the start of a terrible turn of events. This very phone call caused an argument to arise. According to Peter's testimony during the preliminary hearing, Sheneice grabbed his gun in the vehicle and he took the gun from her. He stated that while he was driving, she lunged toward him. He raised his right arm and the gun went off. After the gun went off, Peter leaned his seat back and drove to a residence on Pleasant Valley Road, where he sat for approximately 20 minutes. After the gun went off, why didn't he try to seek help? Could Sheneice still be alive if he had done so? How could someone who's supposed to be your lover not even try to help you? Peter also told the investigators that he drove down to Dauphin Island Parkway and decided to park the vehicle with his girlfriend's lifeless body behind an abandoned residence. He made sure he powered off her phone. After carelessly leaving Sheneice to die with a shot to the head, someone picked him up from Bay Road. Peter remained at a friend's home near Moffett Road for the rest of the day. Mr. Peter thought the smart thing to do was to send a text message to Sheneice's phone, asking about her whereabouts. Did he really think this would throw police off? Sheneice's body was found with a pink towel over her face, and her phone and purse were underneath her body inside of the vehicle. The .38 caliber handgun was also found as well. Peter was contacted by police the day following this tragedy, but they were unsuccessful in reaching him. However, the following day, they were able to locate him at his sister's apartment in Saraland. Sheneice's younger sister, Myosha Meggs, 18 at the time, was contacted as well, but she had not seen her sister since May 8th. Was this another domestic violence case? According to Sheneice's family, she was the victim of domestic violence. If a man is beating on you, putting his hands on you, yelling at you, he's not worth it. Please leave him, said Miracle Meggs, Sumpter's sister. If you're going through anything, any woman or girls, anybody, any age, if a man is beating on you, putting his hands on you, yelling at you, calling out your name, saying you're not pretty, saying you're not worth it, then he's not worth it. Please leave him, says Meggs.
I just would like to say, if you're going through anything, any women, girls, anybody, any age, if a man is beating on you, put his hands on you, yelling at you, calling out your name, saying you're not pretty, saying you're not worth it, he's not worth it. Please leave him. And one thing, I was doing some research on domestic violence. Usually when the woman or the child, well, when the woman is about to leave, that's when it's most likely for the woman or the child to be hurt or murdered. And my sister was about to leave to go to Jacksonville to work next month. an insurance adjuster, making real good money. So, and it's jealousy. If you need help, please seek it. I feel like I could help my sister, but she's in a better place. It don't seem real.
A month after her death, she was supposed to be starting a new job in Jacksonville, Florida. On May 10, 2017, officers arrested Peter Gales in connection to the fatal shooting of Sheneice. Gales said during his arrest that he did not murder Sumpter. Police stated that their investigation into Sumpter's murder led them to Gales, and that there was no one else involved. But there are some who believe Peter should have been locked up years ago. According to the Metro Jail Long, there is a warrant out for Gales' arrests on drug charges that dated back to 2011. If he had been arrested, my sister would have never been with him. She would have gone to Jacksonville, working, making money, says Sumpter's sister, Miracle Meggs. My son has an alibi. I didn't raise a monster. Peter's mother did not feel as though her son killed Sheneice. Kimberly Gales, mother of Peter Gales, stated that the allegations of domestic violence in the relationship between Gales and Sumpter were being exaggerated. According to Kimberly, prior to this, Sheneice called me and said that he had hit her. 3 Saraland officers came to visit them, and there were no marks on her at all. She wouldn't even give them his name. Kimberly was very adamant about how the Mobile Police Department did not check the story about his whereabouts on the evening of Sumpter's death. He was on Moffett Road. I know my son didn't do this, said Kimberly. I know it in my heart I didn't raise a monster. Kimberly mentioned that Peter was at another woman's home on Moffett Road. On the 9th, I've got phone records where he texted me all day, and I picked him up on Moffett Road at 7:21 p.m., said Kimberly.
What I told the court today was that the defendant had shot her in the head and she was found inside of a vehicle, and he has admitted to that shooting.
Because prior to this, Sheneice called me and said he had hit her. 3 officers, Saraland officers, came to visit them. She had no marks on her at all, and she wouldn't even give them his name. So she was in such a threat. It seemed like she would have gave him his name then. She told me, Mama, be quiet. Because I'm fine. She didn't have if y'all contact the police, she didn't have a scratch on her. I'm not speaking ill of her because I loved her too. They had their problems. But on the night, my son has an alibi. He has an alibi and nobody even checked it. He was on Moffett Road. I know my son didn't do this. I know it in my heart. I didn't raise a monster. They had their problems. Don't get me wrong. All couples do. But I know my son is innocent, and it's going to be proven because he has an alibi.
Justice was served, and Peter learned his fate September of 2021. He was sentenced to life in prison. Sheneice's family continued to be advocates for domestic violence.
Happy birthday to Sheneice. Happy birthday to you.
The purple for domestic violence.
Please don't ignore it. Don't ignore it. If you hear it, report it. Don't say it's not my business. Report it. Tell somebody.
Tears brought by the tragedy of it all.
I ask that you would pray for this young man.
Thinking of a 9-year-old now without a mother.
That baby don't deserve around no violence. He don't deserve that. They just show you how the devil worked with that guy. He ain't care about that baby.
Unprepared for this moment. So why is a natural question. But tonight,
1,
they want to remember
2,
who.
3. Give God a clap of praise. Give God a clap of praise.
That's all for today's video, and thanks for watching it. Before you leave, make sure you subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications to never miss any updates. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay tuned.